All right. Just a sec.
Cool.
All right. Hey, everybody. Really sorry for the late start. We have a shorter attendance list today, which is why we waited. But let's start now. And all right, let me introduce myself. My name is Shruti, and you'll find me on Stack with the same name. Um, I missed a lot of things. I was the GSOD intern with CNCF, and I was working with Layer5 for a bit. I'm also the community manager for Layer5. So you can contact me for anything, including uh, random questions about projects, questions about the community, questions about anything else, really. You can speak up here or you can ping me on Slack for the same. Also, let me introduce the meeting. So this is the Newcomers Meeting, and and we have more of an informal culture here. So you can go up and you can go ahead and speak up whenever you want with questions, with topics, with points, with agendas, with anything really. Feel free to interrupt me. My co-host today is Ruth, and she'll be introducing the side projects to you. All right, let's start. So we usually start these meetings with small intros. Fair warning, it's more of an interactive session for this particular call. Um, yes, we usually start with introductions for people who haven't joined us before for community calls. Aditya Ambekar, I think you haven't joined us before. Would you like to go first with a short intro?
Yeah, so my name is Aditya Ambekar and I'm currently in my third year of BTech. So yeah, and I'm from India.
All right. What are your interests? What do you want to work with? What have you worked with?
Currently, I'm not sure about the projects, but
Mhm.
yeah, I'm going through all.
All right. Um, Nivedita, would you like to go next?
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Nivedita Prasad, a second year student from India. Currently, I'm working on DevOps, Kubernetes, and networking. And yeah, I'm a web developer. Yeah, I also know my language is C, C++, Python. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Good intro. Mr. R, would you like to tell us your name and introduce yourself?
Yeah, I kept it for attendance purposes. And yeah,
All
I'm
right.
Rohit, currently in my final year, and I usually do a lot of web development in Python, but
Mhm.
these days I'm focusing on cloud computing, and yeah, I'm exploring both public and private cloud, and as well as what open source has to offer, basically cloud native or anything related to it. So, and then I stumbled upon this community,
Mhm.
and I recently participated in KubeCon as well, where I have attended the service mesh day. I think if I'm saying it wrong, correct.
No, you're right.
Yeah, and yeah, basically I like the whole community vibe in here, and everybody is pretty cool.
Mhm.
So actually, I joined before, but I think I left before introducing. But I get these reminders every week, like uh, your a newcomers, layer 5 newcomers meeting, layer 5 newcomers meeting. There's
Yeah,
another,
we're pesky about that.
yeah, yeah, and there's another meeting on tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, there is. There are
Yeah,
project meetings every day of the week for different projects.
yeah. So basically, yeah, that's what got me started here, and hopefully, I'll contribute more and get to learn. Yeah.
All right. Vishal, welcome back. I think we've had you on a couple of calls before. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. Can't hear you, Vishal.
Hello,
Hey,
I'm audible.
yeah, you are.
Yeah, I'm a third year undergraduate student from India, and also I'm contribute the open source project Fedora.
Nice.
I'm okay. Yeah.
All right. For future reference, your intros don't have to be this technical. It can include my favorite color as well. But all right, let's move forward. If you can see my screen right now, I'm sharing the meeting minutes, a link for which has been shared in the meeting chat. You should be able to access it if you have been onboarded in the community. If you can't access it, please speak up and I'll give you access. You really should have access to this because otherwise you won't have access to any other community resources as well. All right. If you can access it and if you can see the sheet in front of on my screen right now, please do go ahead and add your name to the attendees list. Also, please go ahead and add any topics that you want to the agenda. Topics can be anything, including questions. It doesn't have to be something very serious. All right. All right, that's it for the formal intros. Moving on. Ruth, would you like to start with the side projects?
Am I audible?
Yep, you are.
Okay, my network was a bit rusty, so I had to go off and come back just in case I go off. Shruti, you'd help me continue.
Sure,
But
of
let me
course.
share my screen now.
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, hi everyone. I'm Ruth Kiga and I'm from Nigeria and I'm in Meshmates and you can also find me on Slack on the same name. So yeah, so is my screen visible?
Yep, it is.
Yeah, visible.
Right. Okay. So yeah, so you can find me on Slack on the same name, Ruti Kiga, and I'm always available. Okay, not at my sleeping time, but I'd always get your DM sorted out. If I do not have an answer, I'll definitely send you someone that would definitely answer your question, or I'll move you down the treaty. Yeah. So this is a short intro to the Layer 5 website. So you see here we have listed out all the links for the front end projects and the ones running on Gatsby. So if you take a look at this one, this is running on GKL. The Mesh3.io site is running on GKL. Yeah. So this GKL is a static site generator with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. If you are a front end developer, this is a good start for you, and you can find the source code on. Okay, you can find the source code on the GitHub repository. Or just give me a sec. Let me get that. Oh, this for topics. Give me a sec. I'll get that into the chat. Am I still audible? Hello.
Yep, you are.
Oh, okay. I wasn't seeing the Zoom sign anymore, so I thought it cut off. So the first um front end project, it runs on GKL. Like I said, you can get started with this project if you are a front end developer. Then the other one is the documentation for measuring. My connection is really very unstable. I'm so sorry about that. Um, okay. So while this loads, this is for the documentation site on Measure. Then we also have the current site, which will be dropping off very soon with GKL. The current site with GKL, but we'll be dropping that very soon because we'll be launching a new site with that runs on Gatsby and Strapy. So because my network is a bit rusty, it's taking some time to load. So sorry about that. But these listed here are the front end projects, and you can check them out and check out for issues that you want to fix or explore. Another part I'd love to talk about is on the top of the meeting minutes, there are some resources that you want to really hop on. So we have some guides here for you, which is the first timers welcome guide. It's a very short guide that curates like how to submit or how to take up an issue on the Layer 5 um, community. So it's a very short guide. You should check it out. Then we also have a repository overview, right? If you click on this, it's also hyperlinked. If you click on this, it takes you to a repository overview that explains, it sort of explains what each repository and like some context on the front end project and some context on the back end project. So it's hyperlinked, and once you click on that, it will it will load the repository overview, which is this. If you scroll down on the table of contents, you'd see the front end project and some of the back end projects, just in case you're not a front end person, you're a back end developer, so you can like check it out and understand, like get some real context on the different projects we have from this resource. Also, all these meetings, the newcomers meeting holds every Thursday, and they are being recorded. So, in case you miss out anything on here, you can check on the YouTube channel, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get like updates on all the meetings are actually recorded. Each Layer 5 meeting is recorded and automatically gets to the YouTube channel. So another part again is these issues for grabs. So we have curated a list of issues, right, with help wanted, label, and good first issue. So if you click on this link, it takes you to the GitHub repository with um, issues that are labeled help wanted and good first issue. So you can click on this link to check on issues that are for first timers and also with the help wanted label. Additionally, we have a questionnaire, the open source questionnaire, that would love you to fill. This we keep track of this questionnaire because usually we have like tutorials on different topics. So as regards the topics we get on this questionnaire, we come up with the tutorials and give it during this newcomers meeting. So if you have not filled this questionnaire, please kindly fill it in and let us know what tutorials you'd love to receive. I think Shruti would give an intro to Mesh today. So for the persons that are a little confused about what the Mesh project is, you at least get some context on what that is. Treaty will be giving an introduction, and additionally, this call is for answering your questions and your confusion. So always feel free to throw in a topic or any issue you might be having with contributing, and we would be very happy. I and Shriti would be very happy to answer and get you help as soon as possible. So with that, I would hand over to Shriti before my network goes off.
Thanks for the intro, Ruth. That was pretty great. All right. We've got a couple
Hi,
of web
Shriti.
developers here. Hey, am I audible?
Yeah,
Yeah, you are.
Great, great. All right. We've got a couple of web developers today. We've got a couple of
nice.
people
Yeah,
interested
you are.
in. Thank you. All right. I'll restart. We've got a couple of web developers today. We've got a couple of people interested in DevOps or Kubernetes or in general in cloud computing. So if you're in the community and if you want to get started with the projects, the central project to get started with is Meshri. If you're into web dev, Ruth already explained the side projects, so I won't go into that. We'll get back to it at the end of the call. But for now, let's go see Meshri. All right. All right, so Meshri is the mesh management plane, and it's completely, probably have to go and do a little bit of reading on service meshes and how they work to completely understand the product here. But I'll sum it up for you, and I'll deploy Meshri locally, and I'll show you how to do that on your local so that you can get up and running with any of the projects that we currently are working on. Um, with this meeting, be sure to take away at least two things. One, you should know where to start after this particular call, after spending an hour with us. And you should know how to get started with that, with any project or with any domain that you pick. All right, let's go on and let's get started with Meshri. So for Meshri, how we run the product is that you can go run it locally on your system with a single command. All you need to do is have a Docker enabled system. If you don't want to go set up your system right away with Docker, if you don't already have it, a great way to try it out would be through these tutorials, which have recently been added. And that's it. So Katacoda allows you to play or allows you access to a sandbox environment, which sets up the entire um, Docker system for you. And all you need to go do is follow the instructions. And you can play around with Meshri, you can get to know features, you can understand what it's all about, you can run tests, you can analyze what exactly is going on behind the pretty UI. All right, let's go try it. I'll show you the entire thing on Katacoda itself so that if you go run it, you won't face any issues. All right, so Minikube is already set up. You don't have to go do anything else. Let's try and see if, is my screen visible?
Yeah.
Anybody?
Yeah, now it is
All
visible.
right.
Yeah, it's visible.
The entire maximize thing.
Yep. Hold on.
Yep, yeah,
All
it's
right.
visible.
Great. All right. Let's check up on Minikube. There you go. Minikube is ready. All right. So on any Linux or Mac OS system, this particular command will pull up Meshri, deploy it, get it running on your system, and also pull it up on your browser. So let's go run it. When you run the tutorial, you won't actually have to type in the commands like I'm doing. You'll have instructions for that. All right, so we'll be waiting for about a minute for it to pull up all the containers and for it to pull up any addresses and get it set up for you. By that time, does anybody have any questions? Could be anything. It doesn't have to be related to Meshri. It doesn't have to be related to side projects, just in general.
Yeah, I was curious about that one-to-one mentor pairing thing going on in Meshery. I think.
Oh, do you mean the Meshmate thing?
Yeah, yeah. Can you explain more
Yeah,
about
we call it Meshmates.
that?
Yeah, sure. All right. Let me actually share the screen with you. Just a sec. All right. So in the community, we offer a one-to-one mentor pairing. What these people do, Ruth is one of them, by the way. And what these people do is basically gets you through that first awkward period of getting around the projects and discovering what they are and finding people in the community. They connect you to the right people, they explain projects to you, they solve the little tiny issues that you might have while contributing or while, while getting the lay of the land. We currently have 6 meshmates. And to get a mentor, all you need to do is fill up the community member form that should have been mailed to you. And that probably was mailed to you by me, whatever details that you want to add to it. And then you need to go pick one of these 6 people and How do you pick these people? So out of the six, every particular person here, when you click on their card, you can go see the domains that they're interested in, the domains or projects that they've worked with, and their time zone. A general advice: pick somebody close to your time zone and pick somebody close to your domains or interests, and it will be a benefit to both of you, both the mentor and the mentee. So for example, if you want to get into front end or if you want to get into web dev, Nikhil or Tanuj would be perfect for you. If you want to get into DevOps or if you want to get into Meshri centric projects or more development based projects, Kush or Vijay would be great for you. If you want to get into documentation or if you want to get into side projects or just get a general lay of the land without getting too much into the projects, Kalichi or Ruth would be perfect for you. And that's it. The intros that I've just given can be found on their cards as well. All right. Does that answer your question, Rohit?
Yeah, that was helpful. Thanks.
Great. All right, let's go see if Mastery is running. Is this one right? Just a sec. Okay, that's weird. Yep. All right. I hope my screen is visible. Please tell me if it's not. At just a sec.
It is. Yeah, it's
Great,
Yeah.
visible.
great. All right, so we have Mastery up and running, and all you need to go do now is select a provider. I'm going with none for now. You can go with Mastery when you're running it on your local. And that's it. Mastery is pulled up. Just a sec. Has anybody tried running Mastery locally on this call yet?
No, not yet.
All right. All right, there you go. I hope it's visible in full screen. If it's not, let me know. All right, so we have Mastery up and you can see, you should be able to see the basic UI right now. Also, people interested in front end and who want to work with React, the Mastery UI is built with React, and we do currently have a couple of issues that need to be worked on the Mastery UI, a lot of issues actually. And you'll be able to find them if you go onto the Mastery repo and look for them, or if you come and ask either on the Mastery channel or you can ping me and I'll get you connected with the right people working on it. All right, so the way Mastery works is it automatically detects and connects to your to any running Kubernetes cluster. We have Minikube running right now, a single node cluster. So it directly detected it, and it will do the same for you if your kubeconfig is located in the automatically generated location that is should be in your home folder under a .cube file. If it's not, Meshi won't be able to auto detect it, and then you'll have to go manually upload it. Which isn't really a big thing. You just need to go locate your kubeconfig file and then upload it and select a context name, which can be anything from Minikube, from KDS to um, Docker Desktop to anything that you're running. If you're running on Windows, it would, and you're running a Kubernetes cluster with Docker Desktop, it would probably be Docker Desktop. And I'm mentioning this because it's a little tough to get Docker up and running on a plain Windows WSO or any other VM. All right, let's go back. What it also does when you run Meshry is it pulls up all of the service mesh adapters, and you can perform ad hoc tests on both Kubernetes clusters and adapters, containers, to check if they're connected to Meshry. By ad hoc tests, I basically mean just adapts confirming the connection between those two. So if you click on any of these, you'll be greeted with a pop-up notification that says that it has been connected successfully, and that's great. Let me give you a tour of the UI. So if you click on the management page of any service mesh, you can go define namespaces, which in Kubernetes terms literally means naming that space for whatever reason that you're trying to implement it. Go click on Istio, and it'll again give you pop-up notifications through the entire process, and wait for about 10-15 seconds. You'll get a notification when it's done. You'll also see the container or the components uploaded on your screen when it's successfully available. If we wait for just a second more, it should be, yep. All right, it'll pull up two more components, an ingress and an egress gateway in about 10 seconds. We'll come back to that. After you've employed a service mesh, you can go deploy sample applications to test out your service meshes. You can go apply particular configurations. You can go upload Prometheus or Grafana queries and run it along with Meshry. You can paste in custom configurations as well, which is a feature most people don't know about. So you can just go place your custom YAMLs here, which you've already been running, and you don't have to go adapt that to Meshry. Apart from that, you can also go run performance tests for any of the meshes. For example, we already have Istio up and running. Yep, it's up and running perfectly now with all of its gateways and everything. If you just go run test, we don't have any particular sample app running, so I'll just take, does anybody remember if GitHub is io or .com? It's .com.
It's .com.
Yeah, thank you. All right, that's it. You can go choose a load generator. We currently have 3 up and running, Fortio, WRK2, and Nighthawk. You can go read about them in the documentation as well. I'll show you that too. Go run the test, and I've given it a 30 seconds duration, so it'll take 30 seconds to bring up the results. And there you go. All right. A lot of this might not make sense right now, and that is completely fine. You learn about it as you go. All right. Great. Let's go see the results. There you go. What it basically does is it runs a test on the given UI and gives you an analysis of the features that are running behind it. It's especially helpful when you're comparing two service meshes or when you're comparing a service mesh against a given standard. Meshry also declares test results in the service mesh performance format, the SMP format, which is a standard in the service mesh landscape. It also follows a couple of SMI standards, which again might not be a very familiar term, and that's completely understandable. I'll pause for questions here. I realize that I've spoken about a lot of things in the last 10 minutes. Any questions at all? All right. Feel free to speak up at any point in the call to stop me from blabbering on. All right. The quick start guide should be a very, very good place for you to get started out. If you are running on Windows, you might need a slight bit more help, or you might need a little bit more help setting up Docker and not particularly Meshry, because it's a little annoying to, you need a particular Windows version to update to WSL2, and you need to have the right version of Docker desktop running. It's a little complicated, but that's a Windows issue. If you are facing that issue and if you are having problems getting it to run, ping us in Slack will help you. Or come back to us in the next Newcomers call and we'll help you there. All right, that's it for Meshry. This guide should really help you get Mesri up and running on your local at least, which is something you should be doing regardless of whichever domain or project that you're working with. Um, Most of the projects are centrally, um, I won't say based, but centrally connected to this particular project. And it would be helpful for you, and it would be great for us if you go run it. All right. I'll shut up right now, and again, I'll pause for questions or comments.
Yeah, I wanted to connect with a meshmate. How can I proceed? Like you told it just now, but I didn't find any uh,
Contact
place
link.
where I can apply for it. I
All
had
right.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to apply for it. There's no form to go fill. All you need to do is go fill the community member form that has been mailed to you. If you haven't received it, please do ping me and I'll get you one. Um, that basically helps both the meshmate and anybody else in the community, the community managers at least, get to know more about you and get to know and use that information to help you be proceed in the right direction or proceed with the right projects. To contact any of the meshmates, all you need to do is go select one and then go ask them to be your mentor or to be your meshmate on the Newcomers channel on Slack.
Okay. Thank you.
That's it. Anytime. All right, let's talk about you individually then, if nobody else has any other questions. Aditya, what are you interested in? Anything to focus on after listening to everything that we talked about?
Not sure currently.
All right. You're interested in web dev, right? If I remember correctly from the start of
Uh,
the meeting.
yeah, currently.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything that you worked with before?
I haven't worked with Gatsby and Strap API, I guess,
Hmm.
which Mesher is using, but yeah,
Gatsby and
I'm
Strap API is being used by used by this particular site only. Meshri doesn't use Gatsby. Meshri, the
yeah,
yeah.
sorry. Uh,
Right. All right. If you haven't worked with Gatsby, but if you want to learn, this is a particularly great initiative, and you can go talk to some people that I point out for you. But if you don't want to work with Gatsby, and if you want to stick with JS or some other frameworks, the Layer5 site or the Meshri or the SMP spec site might be a good point for you.
okay, I will look into.
Sure. Nivedita, anything to talk
Yeah,
about?
actually, I'm learning DevOps and Kubernetes. So I like to contribute in DevOps part because I want to enhance my skill. And yeah, I also try to contribute in React because I also already work with it. So
All right. All right, let me refine a few more things. So the Meshri CLI, and there is a Meshri CLI called Meshri CTL, is built in Go, is written in Go.
okay,
So if
okay,
somebody wants to work with Go, that is also a good project to get started with. I forgot to mention that before. And if you want to work with DevOps, you could start out with Meshri. That is a good place to start. You could either look through the current issues that are there on the Meshri repo, or you can go ping in public in the Meshri channel, or you can take up any of the meshmates. Vijay
yeah,
might be a good point of contact for you, or Nikhil, or Kush.
yeah. I'll contact to Meshmet because I need. I think.
All right. Anshul, I think you joined a little bit late.
Yeah. So I'm mostly into backend developer and development, and I have some experience working with Go. So I like to start up with Go, and I also have some experience in DevOps, but I've never worked with Kubernetes. I have worked with Docker,
Mhm.
so I might proceed with that.
All right, you skipped the intros, by the way. So we have intros for every newcomer coming in. So you didn't have to give one.
Yeah, I
And
can give one now. Like,
sure, go ahead.
yeah, so I'm Anshul. I'm a sophomore student at BITS Pilani, Rajasthan, India. Uh, yeah, that's it, I think.
All right. Um, you said you wanted to go with Go projects, right? Anirudh might be a good place of contact for you. I'll write out his name.
Okay.
Um, he has the same ID on Slack, so it should be easy to contact you. If he is not, ping me and I'll get you connected.
Okay. But I don't see him in this meshmates list.
Yes, Anirudh is not a meshmate,
Okay.
but it's equivalent, to be
Okay.
honest.
Okay.
Great. Rohit, same question.
Honestly, I really can't comment. I have to explore a little bit, and then I can say I'm interested, or you know, in
Sure,
particular side of the project. Maybe next week I can give
sure.
him.
That
Yeah.
makes complete sense.
Yep.
That's a good approach, actually, if you're not very sure about the projects. And if I've been speaking too fast or giving too much information, that's completely understandable. Come back to us next week in the same call. And if you have any questions, or go pick up a meshmate and talk it out.
Yeah. Sure.
All right. Anybody left? Vishal?
I'm interested in web development front end side.
All right. Anything that you're comfortable working with or anything that you'd like to learn?
I'm currently learning Jackley framework.
Do you mean Jekyll?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right. Have you picked up any of the issues? I believe I remember you
Uh,
working on something.
Now, but I'm
All right. Have you found something that you want to work with, or what that you want to work on any of the sites?
yes.
Uh, I'll frame this in a better way. Do you need help with that, or have you talked to somebody else? Vishal? All right. Come back to us if your audio is working. All right. All right. We'll move on for now. Hmm. All right. Let me ask this: has any of you worked with any open source projects before? I remember Vishal saying Fedora, but anybody else?
Yeah, I worked on Force Asia before.
Nice. All right. So if anybody hasn't worked at open source projects before and is finding the environment a little new, uh, it's really, really great if you want to speak up or if you can speak up because that makes you more involved and you'll learn more that way. And you'll be able to work on issues or on better issues and contribute more that way as well. All right. Aman, hi.
Audible.
Yeah, Vishal, you're audible.
So actually, is network issue, so I'm not able to previously. But what I say, can you repeat one again? I'm interested in web development.
Mhm. Oh,
Actually, I'm
yeah. I asked you if
uh,
you found any issues to work on or if you needed some help with that.
I'm not before starting with the uh, uh, um, one issue. So firstly, I'm starting with the those have a good issue. So I'm collecting with good issue and solve this problem firstly. Then
All right. That, yeah, that sounds good. That is the way to go. All right. Ping me if you have any issues and I'll help you out. Okay. Moving on. Aman, hey, if you can't speak up, that's good. I was pointing you out because you joined late, and hey, joined late, and we were talking about a couple of things, and we like people to give intros when they join in. It's more of an interactive meeting. Ah, no issues. Um, you can type it out what you're interested in, and we can go forward from there if you want to. All right, web dev and DevOps. That's great. For the web dev, I'm guessing as you joined late, you didn't see the intro. You can go through the sites list that is already there in the meeting minutes. If you can't access the meeting minutes, then do let me know. Ping me on Slack, I'll help you out. And great. And for DevOps, I'll give you the same advice as Nivedita. Go see run, go check out the projects for DevOps particularly because you have to select the right project for that and go run Mesh locally. And I'm guessing you missed the intro or the tutorial. So go run these tutorials that I'm pointing out right now. These are sandbox tutorials, and you should be able to get through them. And that's it. That's all the advice I have, except if you have any other questions. All right. Okay, if nobody else has any other questions, we can end the call right now. I'll be on the call for the next 5-10 minutes. You can stay and ask any of the questions that you want or anything else that you want to talk about. Otherwise, thank you for coming in. That's it. That's the meeting. It's the same time next week. Do come back if you want to continue on with this particular meeting or join us for other meetings, other project meetings based on the projects or the domains that you pick out. If you want links to those particular meetings, subscribe to the Google Calendar, or if you don't want to do that, or if you haven't done that yet, this is also a good resource to connecting with meetings or to figuring out the meeting minutes or to seeing any of the recorded meetings. We do record all of our meetings and they're available on YouTube, so you can go check that out as well. And that's it. Thank you for hearing me ramble on for the last 50 minutes.
I had a question like, when should we transition from newcomers meeting to other meetings?
That's a really good question. The answer is it depends on you. It depends on you when you have picked out a project, when you picked out a domain, and you can come back to us whenever you want with questions or with FAQs or with any other talk. But when you picked out a project and when you know how to start out with it, when you have a meshmate, when you have picked out issues to work on, or when you've figured out how to contribute, a good way is to get started with project meetings because that tells you a lot more about specific projects than we'd be able to in single hour. And that's it. You can come back to us anytime that you want.
Yeah, I understood.
Great. All right, that's it. Anybody who wants to leave can leave now. Bye bye. Thank you for coming in. Yes, Nivedita, go on.
Actually, my question is out of the topic, but I want to ask.
Sure.
Actually, a few days ago, I applied for Linux Foundation mentee, but
Mhm.
till now I don't get any mail or any info. So I want to ask any further step which I'm missing. Yeah, because I
Okay.
already,
Mhm. That's the
yeah, because
community
I
based
already,
internship, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right.
Actually,
Yeah.
yeah, actually, I already submit all the documents that required to submit, but no information regarding.
All right. So for community based internships, we usually hand them out to people who are invested in the project, or who have been active in the community and are aware about the projects. And that's a
Okay.
good thing to do. So the next step for you would be to get involved with the project that you applied for. I'm guessing it's measuring because I
Yeah,
think that's the only internship open right now.
yeah,
Great. So that's it. Go be a little active in the community, contribute to projects, figure out what the projects are all about, figure out the workflow, and that's it. That should be the
yeah.
next step for
Okay.
you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anything? I'll be on the call for the next 5 minutes. If anybody has any other questions, they can go ahead and ask. If you don't have questions, you can leave. That's completely fine.